Welcome to another episode of At Witt's End, a unique one. We are not 6,000 miles apart. We are not 9 hours difference. We are in the same city, same time zone, just a couple feet apart.
I guess it's part 2 of our special in-person
Yes,
series.
remote series, I guess. So
Oh, in person.
yeah,
not
in
remote.
person. So we're going to finish it. It's my last day in Austria, heading back to the States. But we had I would say, a football weekend, and not just one type of football, but two types of football. One with the national Austrian team playing the national Belgium team in European football, foosball, soccer, as we would call it back home. And then finished up with a couple of games of the new ACSL. Got it right this time.
Yeah. Not new. I wouldn't say new. It's been around
Well,
for a few years.
the inaugural game of this season.
Opening day.
I had hoped to be here for the Astros' first game, but it turned out they got a bye. But the team turned out, they always go to the games. They had a nice cheering section. So got to hang out with the guys one last time before heading home. So with that.
So let's start, what was it, Friday night?
Friday night.
Opened up. So it is Euro qualifier season. That means all the teams in Europe, all the countries' international, all the countries' national teams, are fighting for a place in the Euro tournament. So the Euro tournament is like a mini World Cup of European countries, and they're in the group stages right now. At the top of the group that they are both in is Austria and their opponent on Friday that we saw, Belgium.
Who else was in the group?
I believe it is Estonia, Azerbaijan, which I saw both of them in Linz when the national team played there for the first time in like 30 years, so that was cool. And then I believe Sweden is the other team in the group. So I think there is 5 teams in this group.
And the Austrians and the Belgians are both leading the pool.
Going into the game, they were both 4 wins, 1 draw. That 1 draw being against each other in Belgium. If you don't know international soccer, Belgium right now is a pretty big powerhouse and has been over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. Carson does. I guess I probably do know it, but don't follow it too closely.
I think for about 3 years, Belgium was the number 1 rated country in the world in the rankings. So they were in their golden era of international football for Belgium.
And they still, I guess, have some major players on the team, celebrities. We happened to be at the same hotel with the Belgian team, so it was interesting how the fans showed up to see him get on the bus. So we were there. I had no idea if I walked by the best player or not.
He could have, for anyone who knows football, soccer, he could have walked by Kevin De Bruyne and not known who Kevin De Bruyne was.
I still don't know who he is. So.
But
I will say the fans were great. Even at the hotel, the Austrians and the Belgians hung out together. They both are smoke quite a bit, so they're outside smoking in the bar quite a bit. And the hotel was even though the team obviously takes a bus, it's within walking distance to the stadium. Those of you that follow the podcast, I think we had spoke about seeing the Rolling Stones in Vienna a couple years ago. Wasn't that long, a year ago? So not this last summer, this previous summer, but it was at the same stadium where we saw the Stones. So this was actually what the stadium was built for, an actual soccer game, football game. So a nice, easy walk into the stadium. It was packed. I would say sellout. Hats off to their sponsor, Stiegel, for us. Their colors happen to be red and white, and everybody had a red and white flag. So, for those of you not into soccer, the experience going to a soccer game, a major game like that, and the crowd interaction, singing, the chants, the cheers, the music.
Well, and I had mentioned this, or I'd asked you this. This was your first international match, first matchup of countries playing each other. I had previously been to a Germany-England Euro match, or not Euros, Nations League match last year or 2 years ago in Germany.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of an idea what it was like, but this was your first. So how was the introductions, the opening, the fans before the match?
Well, at first I was like, I, I didn't know if it was going to be crowded or not because it was pretty quiet. Other than the fans at the hotel where we happened to be, is more of an industrial university area, so it wasn't real busy. And then as we walked, the crowds grew. Everybody was hanging out front. It was great to see the colors. Belgium happens to be red, a little bit of yellow in there,
Black, red,
and
yellow,
black.
black.
So there was a lot of red in the stadium. My only criticism is the beer and food lines were atrociously long. So I would advise getting food and drinks outside the stadium with the vendors there. But other than that, like I said, the crowd was great. It's hard not to just watch the crowd and focus on the game itself. But I even noticed the people around me watching the crowd because we had the Belgian behind us, and obviously they chant the whole time too with the drums and everything. Yeah. So yeah, displays at the other end of the stadium. Maybe Carson will post some of those pictures or video. Pretty spectacular. The national pride of both teams, and then our seats are pretty good. We had a front row of kind of the middle section, so nothing blocking anybody. So yeah, it was a great experience, a lot of fun. I would recommend it for anybody. Go see a game. So sadly, the Austrians did not win out. It was 3-2.
It was exciting though. So Belgium got out to a 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
They scored in the first half to make it 1, and then
at halftime it was kind of depressing.
Well, they were 1-0 at halftime, right? And then they got 2 quick goals in the second half, and then it got a little interesting.
I would say not knowing soccer though, it was obviously the Austrians had more shots on goal.
Yeah,
but they weren't within the target range. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the way it felt in the game is Austria had possession, Austria had ball control. Austria did a lot of They did really well for the majority of the game. They felt like the better team for
they
a lot of it.
committed in the net.
But the counterattack of Belgium was insane. They had a couple guys that are just super quick and fast and just cut right through Austria's
they had some
defense.
speed. A couple of guys just.
And then their finishing ability was, that's I mentioned to him at the game. Austria had a ton of chances, but just could not finish. And Belgium finished their chances they had, and they didn't have as many as Austria did. Austria had.
If Austria had the same percentage goals versus shots on goal, it probably would have been about 6-3.
Yeah. But it got interesting in the second half. So they went down 3-0 and they fought back. Scored a goal midway through the second half. Got it to 3-1. Then it got extra interesting. We saw a red card come out. But the ref was being a little touchy, I think, but made it exciting. Red card came out. Then later after that red card, he gave a penalty to Austria. Sabitzers, and then it was 3-2 with 10 minutes or so left.
Yeah, the whole add-on of time is for an American is kind of interesting, like an NFL game adding on time at the end based on penalties or something. But the anticipation built up because nobody knew how much time was left because I guess the ref is the only one that knows. So everybody's screaming, and the Austrians are taking shots. It's getting close. It was kind of crazy at the end. Then all of a sudden. Actually, somebody in the crowd had a whistle and blew the whistle, and our whole section was pissed off. And I think there was another 4 minutes left. Yeah, so it sounded like it came from the Belgians, which I could see.
No, the someone had blew what if the final whistle in soccer. It's three
in a row.
Whistle blows, and they're very clearly separate. And someone did that in the stands, and the Belgian fans went crazy. And then they realized, the game's still actually going.
It wasn't official.
It was just a whistle near us in the stands, but it was very good. It was
the excitement that they could have tied the game within the very last second. It was the best part of the game.
And to come back potentially from a 3-0 down, in the second half alone was pretty. I mean, they had a chance. They gave themselves a chance, and It's not a it wasn't a super important matchup. I mean, it was fighting for the top of the group, but
Yeah,
both the teams are
I
pretty
guess.
much qualified
Yeah,
at
they're
this
both in.
point.
That's why I didn't think it was going to be a big game or a sellout. I think, well, they're going to probably both make it through.
Well, I mean, Belgium coming to Austria is a big deal. Like one of
Yeah.
the best teams in the world coming here to play, so it's always going to be a big deal. And to go to a national team game is always going to be a big deal for a country like Austria.
So yeah, definitely a positive, exciting event. I'm trying to think negatives again. The lines for beer and food. And by the way, the beer is separate from the food. I got in the beer line thinking I was going to get something to eat, and
Yeah,
ended up it was a whole nother line. And then
the stadium's just old.
yeah, the
It's an old
stadium's an old
stadium.
stadium. What else would I say to take away from that?
Not a whole lot.
No, again, as an American, the whole flopping, anytime somebody gets touched on the field, they roll around for a while.
Part of
You know, they have the trainers come out, look at him, and all of a sudden the guy gets up and he start running again. So that that's always something different between the
Yeah.
U.S. and here.
Yeah.
So,
But so we'll end that football discussion, and we'll go to the other football
yeah,
discussion.
we'll go from European football to American football in Vienna.
The sport that is growing in Austria.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons it's fascinating for me. And even the Austrians say it's growing like crazy. And we actually saw there's another team forming, not in the university, but another club team somewhere
Yeah.
on one of the American websites, and they're asking for players and coaches. But I'd come because I wanted to see the JKU Astros from Linz, the first team outside of Vienna, the team Carson coaches, play their inaugural game. Well, as it turned out, after I had already bought the tickets, they got a bye. So they're not playing until, I believe, the 26th, which is not college game day Saturday. It's Thursday night football.
NFL Thursday night football.
And the way they do it here is all the teams play on the same day. So it's more of a football festival. Nice stadium. I know you're moving between different stadiums. What do you think that holds?
It's Stadium Hohe Wart.
5,000?
Probably a little bit more than that. I mean, it depends on if you're sitting in the grass.
Yeah, you could tell it was an older stadium because they had tiered
grass
and then modern bleachers built within that too. So obviously at one time it was a major stadium in Vienna. But I was surprised, Carson gets free tickets for family and friends. So we got to go in right away. But the line to get in, I was kind of shocked because we went right before the gates open. I thought, it's going to be a long time before they start filling up. But the university students in Vienna and Linz have embraced it. There was a long line. We had some family members, calling us saying, "Hey, we're in line. How long is it going to take?" kind of thing. Lots of vendors, lots of food, and a hell of a lot of drinking going on.
Not just beer, too.
No, beer, spritzers, various spritzers, and then I was surprised hard alcohol.
You had gin and tonic.
Yeah, gin and tonic. Doctor's order is a great drink, but there's no ice.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I just can't have a more gin.
And the ACSL sponsor booth set up. They had their booth set up.
Yeah.
Black and green. The Jägermeister.
Oh yeah, that was within the stadium, so that's another sponsor.
Jägermeister.
So you do have Jägermeister available, and so you have the beer, the hard alcohol, the spritzers, and then great food. Yeah. They had basically street trucks there.
Shout out to Speedy Potato, best potatoes, good fish and chips.
Was that the guy with the French fries?
Yeah, Speedy Potato has the best fries.
And I did want to try, I guess they were calling them wraps, but they looked like decent burritos too. And,
the wrap truck.
Yeah, so I didn't try it, but it looked great. So I would say, if you're an American in Austria, Vienna, Austria, or even, passing through and there's games and you're jonesing for some American football, definitely a place to go.
Speaking of sponsors real quick, though, there was a pretty cool one that got announced by the ACSL. You want to tell us a little about that one?
Yeah, well, a little backstory. I don't know if they sponsor the guy that started Lawrence.
Yep.
The ACSL. I guess it asked Swatch.
Yeah, probably a talk to him.
Yeah, and they said they didn't think it was going to be anything. So I guess he kept going, and a little bit higher end watch company is sponsoring the ACSL, and that is Breitling. So, we met with some of the Breitling people at the game in Lawrence, and they're actually going to probably have a limited edition. They're talking
Nice. They're
about it, so
talking.
no commitment. And then also something unique for Carson and I is the Breitling boutique. The store happens to be at the base of the building where my uncle happens to live. So we had seen him and been in the Breitling store many a times. It's right by the doorway to the complex, which is right in downtown Vienna in the greatest shopping districts. I would say one of them in the world. Lots of boutiques. So yeah, shout out to the ACSL and
Awesome
Lawrence for getting that sponsorship.
Yeah,
That's
great
pretty
job.
stunning. So
Cool
yeah,
one.
you've got Jägermeister, you've got
Gatorade,
you've got now Breitling, and there are probably some others.
consultancies. Easy Bank, I think, was announced at
Yeah,
the
the
game.
Easy Bank. I was surprised they didn't announce Breitling, so maybe that'll be the next game.
Yeah. Well, they announced it pre-game.
I think it just happened too.
Yeah, it was already on the scoreboard, and they sent a cool announcement video pre-game in the days before. But yeah, that's an awesome, as fellow watch people and lovers here. That was a pretty cool sponsor to see.
Yeah, and to be able to meet the folks and kind of put my name on the list for the new limited edition. So
getting back into the games.
Yeah.
The first game of the day was the University of Vienna Emperors playing against the MedUni Serpents. Serpents debuting their new mascot, physical mascot. They were already called the Serpents, but they had a new snake.
Yeah.
Don't know the
costume.
name. I like to call it Serpy the Serpent.
Snake.
Good mascot costume they have there. So
and the Emperors are actually an eagle.
They have an eagle. So yeah.
Probably for me it would one of the more appropriate mascots just because of the Viennese, the Habsburg Empire, the Emperors. So it kind of fits with Vienna. So interesting game. They have
you noticed something in both games that actually happened that you were a bit amazed about. There were multiple of that happens to have a signal like this.
Oh, yeah. I'd never seen a game with so many safeties or games.
One in each.
Yeah, well, each game had. You rarely see that in the States at all. And I think at halftime, one of the games was 2-5.
5-2 at one point.
Yeah, I'm thinking, if you just were to see that in the names, you'd think, oh, they went to a soccer game, another soccer game, but it was a football game.
Going on, yeah.
So, and the other thing is, both games, I didn't see a lot of hits. A lot of arm tackles.
I think they came out in the second game. So the first game, I think it kind of showed itself as maybe not the best matchup. I mean, the teams were playing good, but it was an opening game, first matchup of the season. Maybe it's just getting used to the feel and getting back into the swing of things. So
I think anybody that's played football knows that first year, especially the first games, hitting somebody's, something that doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
And you don't feel comfortable with it, and probably hear that's the situation.
Yeah, and with some of the teams in the league, like the Serpents, I mean, they're under 30 guys. I think they had like 26 or 27. It looked like they lost a guy to injury in the game too. Saw a guy with an arm in a sling. So there's not a lot of people on the team, so they're getting worn pretty quick, and I think it started to show late in the game.
But they're doing a good job of putting Lawrence and his whole staff of putting out a fun product, I guess, is what it comes down to, and doing a lot of the things that you see in both the NFL and college. We happen to sit over the entrance to the stadium. We were sitting with the Serpents, and that's the other thing. They section off the stadium, so just like they do in soccer, you sit with your fans for each school, and the ACSL has one cheerleading group, although Linz has their own cheerleaders, and I guess that's because you're the first university outside of Vienna. Yeah. So the cheerleaders cheer for all the teams, and I think they're more of a dance group, and dance to a lot of American hits, a lot of Euro hits that I've never heard of. But the crowd goes wild; they're singing the songs, and then the MC Lolo,
Lolo,
and I don't know
and
the other guy,
Max.
and Max.
They
They
do
kind of are the MC running it, but and again, they will go out and kind of hype up one team, and then they go to the other front of the other stands and hype up the next team, and it was packed, and people were sitting in the aisles, and finally security kind of got people out of the aisles.
clear them out.
And if you see pictures, and Carson posts them, at the beginning of the day, the stands on the other side are pretty much empty, but within they did fill up
by the end of game one. They were filled, yeah.
And we had family members show up, and they had never been to an American football game, and they loved it. I think they'll be coming back. Hervig, I was watching him, and I think he was cheering because he and Ilse both went to university here in Vienna, and he said, "I wish I knew what was going on, so I knew what I was cheering for." But he said,
"Cheer with the crowd."
When an Austrian or Viennese says it's super, it's good. So that was their thing. And then Melly happened to see her old school chums everywhere, so I think she really enjoyed herself.
And her dad is a Wirtschaft University, a VU Tiger alum, so she represented.
So sadly, she went and bought a Tiger jersey or a T-shirt, and then sat in the Serpent section with us. And that's the other thing. Carson's team showed up. I would say about 20 guys, and so if Carson posted, there's some pictures. This is their jersey, which happens to have our name on it. I don't know if we can show it yet, but
there's the front of it there.
Quite heavy, and as you can see,
nice jersey.
Yeah, lots of stuff on it. The university logo, the ACLS logo.
And you're reading it, and you still said it wrong.
Yeah, I was good. I think it's because of the ACL damage, and I don't know exactly what this one is.
It's just a kind of combo Astros ACSL one. It's just Astro space theme. Yeah. It's kind of like a NASA variant logo. It's kind of cool.
But their mascot is a duck. They already have the costume. I assume he'll be at the game on the 26th.
Yep. I don't know his name yet, but Ducky McDuckface.
And everybody in Linz, I did see a posting that they are having buses. I think 30 euros, you get drinks, which surprises me the way the Austrians drink, and especially the Linzers, and bus ride and a ticket to the game.
Yeah.
So. But I will warn anybody before we get into the next game, it is a long-ass day. 2 games, and again, the way they drink in Austria, I don't know how they do it. There's no way I could do it. I don't know about you. But there were college students there from...
I think your age hurts you a little bit. I think that college students can handle it a little bit better.
Yeah. And for those of you that are drinkers and on a budget visiting and you go to a game... And any game, the national game, any, I guess, event, you get your cup. So there's a deposit, whether it's a plastic cup. So make sure you save your cup and take it back. Or if you're...
Pick up some more.
Yeah, pick up some more. You can make some money at those games. So it was a lot of fun. Football skill level.
Could be improved.
You can tell guys that have played football before. I was surprised. I saw some decent passes. Some pretty tight spirals, which you see a lot of the kids throwing a football around and they're basically throwing a shot put, but decent passing game, but it's unusual and it's almost like playing 3 flies up. There's like a delay. The quarterback just throws it up and hopefully the receiver catches it kind of thing.
Yeah. A lot of
beating the DB.
A lot of DBs getting beat over the top. Yeah. Just guys running by them for no reason.
If you have a great receiving core with some decent hands, but some speed, and then a quarterback that can just lay it out there, I think you got it going. And then, was it the Emperors? Pretty much the first quarter was all running, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Emperors came out, run the ball. They're running a fly sweep offense. So shout out to Granite Bay High School. That was one they used to run a lot against us at Rockland. That was what they were well known for. That was interesting to see them come out in a fly sweep offense. Yeah. That kind of shocked me a bit. That was a throwback to something I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
But cool they were running it. The Emperors did end up winning that first game pretty handily.
Pretty easily, yeah.
I think there was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 35-14 with some late touchdowns or something like that. Yeah. And then the second game was kind of the big matchup. Some couple powerhouses. So in the lead, the 3 bid teams are the Emperors, the VU Tigers, and the TU Robots. Those are kind of the 3 top tier teams. And the Tigers and the Robots opened up with a big matchup. in the second game. That was a lot more hotly contested, I think.
Yeah, what was the final of that?
I actually don't know what the final was. We
left
early for,
like I said, it was a long day, and we were headed to Carson's favorite Chinese restaurant for a late
shout
meal.
out China Sea.
China Sea in downtown Vienna. So 2 thumbs up to that.
Yeah, that game, I think you definitely, I pointed them out to you, but you, I think, noticed some more hitting in that game. I think you had some shots there.
What's funny, the 1 or 2 hits that people saw, the crowd kind of went wild for a little while. So I think
they appreciated them.
I'm looking forward. I think, JK, you got who's the rugby player on your team? Timo, I think he could do some hitting, and the Hungarian guy, I think we were talking about that at the game. So I think
they just gotta show out. Yeah, they just gotta. There's no need to talk. Just gotta let the pads do the talking. That's right.
Yeah. And I think you guys got a good quarterback, Sugar. That's his nickname, I guess. And then your receiving core. Shout out to Leon. Soft hands, Leon. Come on.
Yep. So it's a good matchup there. We were scouting, so we opened up with the Robots in our first game in a couple weeks.
That'll be a tough game after all.
So yeah, Robots are a good team, and we're excited to face them. Definitely not taking them lightly because they are a good defense. They got a strong team, so it'll be a tough matchup.
Pretty strong too, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a tough matchup, but we're looking forward to it. We're about to have some fun. So, I guess to kind of give you your final thoughts on the ACSL game day spectacle.
Yeah, I told Lawrence he had put together, I didn't say product, but I said he did a great job with this league. It seems like there's some Vienna celebrities, like some YouTubers that showed up. Obviously, Breitling shows up.
Director of TU.
The director of TU. Herwig, the director from the Chamber of Commerce, showed up. And so a lot of fun. It's just a big football party festival. So they've embraced it. Like I said, if you're an American, if you're here as a college student, go check it out. If you're here living or working, go check it out. If you're working in politics, you're with the embassy, go check it out. I think it's a fun time for everybody. But again, I'll warn you, it's a long day. And the kids afterwards go clubbing.
Yep.
I hate to say kids because they're adults that are students.
The after party.
I don't think I could ever make an after party. I don't know if I could make it through two games like that.
You didn't, so.
Yeah. I guess it'd be the analogy would be in golf,
It's a long 18 holes.
18 hole, and do you want to play another 18, play 36?
Yeah.
Rarely happens. So with that, I will say, cheers to Vienna. It's been fun. It's been, got to see some family, got to see some new friends, faces with people that we had been online with. Love the guys that with the Astros. Carson's got a good team. I think they bonded. Pretty good set. Hopefully they stick around for a few years.
Turned into a football team.
Yeah. So good luck.
Yep. With that, we'll sign out from our special in-person podcast.
We'll see you back in the States.